So Bitcoin just closed the monthly candle for October, and it closed in this doji candle. And a doji candle represents indecision. And that's correct. Bitcoin has just been chopping around above $100,000. And most altcoins are in the gutter. However, there are a few select altcoins that are just outperforming everything else. And really the main showstopper is a coin like Zcash. Zcash from the 1st of September is up from $40 to $416. This thing is up 10x. And while I don't recommend it, I don't plan on buying into this parabola on Zcash, there are some other altcoins right now that are showing the promise to move like Zcash has moved. And in this video, I'll be discussing what those altcoins are and how I'm looking to trade them. Let's get into it. What's up, everyone? Welcome to Crypto Empire. My name is Connor. If you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below and turn on all the notifications so you don't miss any future videos. So here we are, the 1st of November, and we have some crazy movers out here in the crypto market. Like I said, Bitcoin just closed the month of October in a doji candle representing indecision. Now it's still holding above the key swing low over here at 107K. So as long as we don't close a weekly candle below 107K, I think that there is the potential we do see some more upside. But if we close a weekly candle below 107, we got to look out below. However, support is still doing its job for now. All right, so let's take a look at some altcoins. And remember, guys, we just had the largest liquidation event in crypto history around 20 days ago on October 10th. All right, and Bitcoin did drop from like 120K down here to 107K. And with that, if you look at a coin like Zcash, what happened on October 10th, it was actually pumping a bit. It corrected afterwards, but it still only corrected from $300 to like $200. All right, so it still stayed extremely strong, which tells us even if we do have some kind of crazy bloody correction across the broader crypto market, some of these altcoins, the top ones, yeah, they're going to dip, but they're going to dip barely and then just keep on pumping up like crazy. So we have to do our best right now to find these select altcoins. Let's get into coin number one for the video. And coin number one is going to be a coin similar to Zcash. It's a bit of a privacy coin, payment narrative coin, and that is Dash, right? Dash right now is a top performer in the market. It's up 55%. This thing is red hot currently at $70 with a market cap of $881 million. Now the all-time high on Dash is $1,500, $1,500. All right, and this happened in December of 2017. Now, if we look at Dash here, and let's take a look at where this thing was at the previous cycle top in 2021. So in 2021, Dash hit a high over here, $478. Okay, so yes, the all-time high is all the way up at $1,500, but you know, there's a lot of levels up here, going up to around $500, right? So it is very possible. Yes, this Dash is up like 3x from $20 in September. In late September, it was trading at literally $20. It's now at 72. So yes, it's up over 3x in around a month's time. However, just like Zcash, we can see this thing put in another 100%, 200% move, maybe even a 300% move up to some of these higher target levels, some levels going back to the 2021 cycle, right? Mainly there is this massive 1 week demand zone coming in at $333 that I would be looking out for. Sorry, that's a supply zone, not a demand zone, but hopefully you guys get what I'm saying, right? So that's up here on the weekly time frame. And with that being said, there are other levels at like $200. So yes, Dash is in a parabola. However, these parabolas can continue, and we want to look to ride this trend. So if we look at what's happened here, Dash has now broken above this previous high from the 13th of October. And again, going back to that correction on October 10th, right? Dash was actually pumping into that. It did end up correcting like 37%, and here it is just blasting off higher. So a few of these select altcoins, they're just going to pump no matter what. So how do we want to play Dash? 12-hour time frame, if we go look, we do have a 12-hour hidden order block left behind at $51. So if we do have a pullback here into the low 50s, that's where I would be looking to get Dash, all right? I never recommend to buying into huge green pumping parabolic candles, all right? I would always rather wait for a pullback. Sometimes that means missing the move, but if the risk-reward ratio doesn't make sense, I'm not going to take the trade. And buying Dash right now at $72 in this crazy huge parabolic move. It's up 55% on the day. It doesn't make sense. It probably will do a retracement. So let's just say this does end up being the local top at 73 and it pulls back. Well, this level over here at $50, this would be right in the golden pocket, the golden zone, right? This is right at the 70.5% Fibonacci retracement. So yeah, I would be looking for a pullback to the golden pocket level. If it lines up with this liquidity level at $50, that would be great. But yeah, that's what I'm looking at for Dash right now. Red hot coin. I wouldn't want to get in the way of it. It's a steamroller. And if it wants to move like Zcash has moved, well, I mean, this thing can just keep on going up. So yeah, we'll see how we go here, but that's how I'm looking to trade Dash. Let's go move on to the next coin of the video. And the next coin is going to be BitTensor TAO. TAO, another one, right? Another top gainer on the day over here. Big in the green. I made a video on TAO yesterday, and TAO has actually went ahead and closed above a major, or it's actually set to close above a major resistance level pending today's daily candle. So right now TAO is trading for $526, $5 billion market cap. Remember guys, TAO does have the halving coming up in December, in early December. All-time high is around $750 for TAO. Let's go ahead and take a look at the price chart here. And like we were discussing in yesterday's video, we were looking for a daily candle closure above these swing highs over here at around 500, right? We had the swing high from February at 495. We had the swing high from May at 489. And as you can see, yesterday's candle, which was the last day of October, did not close above. Here we are the 1st of November. We are above these crazy big resistance levels. So we want to see this candle hold and stick, and a close above these previous swing highs opens up the door for the all-time high levels to get hit. Now, with that being said, according to the time cycles, we do have a low due in early November, all right, around the 7th of November. So with that being said, there was also lows due at the start of September. And what happened going into that pivot is we just went sideways and consolidated, right? Did pump, but it was a left translated cycle and it just kind of failed. But anyways, going into that low, like a lot of people were expecting a crazy big crash, but it just consolidated into it. So if we have another event where we just kind of start consolidating, that would be rather bullish. And if we do end up closing above 500 today, I mean, that is a clear indication it does want to go higher. So again, I still think the level to wait for would be this one-day demand zone that has formed over here on Thursday, October 30th. Okay, so this is, again, a fresh one-day demand level, and I would be looking for a pullback into this level. This is coming in at $440 to $414. I will be looking for a pullback into here if you want to buy TAO for the ride up to the all-time high. Invalidation is pretty clear, right? When it starts closing some daily candles, there's a few ways to look at it. Let's say you just want to use this trend line, right? If it starts to close daily candles beneath this trend line, which would also be beneath the daily demand zone, you want to get out of the trade. That's your invalidation point. But yeah, I would be looking for a pullback into this demand zone. Lines up perfectly with this daily time frame trend line as well at like $440 on TAO for a ride up to the all-time highs. Now let's go ahead and move on to the next coin of the video. The next coin of the video is going to be a bit of a lower market cap coin, but still pretty big, also related to the privacy narrative, and this is going to be ZEN Horizon. All right, so right now ZEN has a market cap of $353 million, trading for $20 per coin, and much like TAO, much like Zcash as well, and even Dash has a lower supply, but the total supply of ZEN is 21 million. Okay, so recurring theme here. This is also trading on the Base network, right? So it's very easy to buy on Base. You can use a decentralized exchange like Trebleswap, which is my favorite decentralized exchange on Base, and easily buy ZEN, right? Treb is going to give you the best aggregation price possible. But anyways, yeah, if you want to buy ZEN or any other coin on Base, I would recommend to check out Trebleswap. But with that being said, 21 million max supply. And what is this coin? It's on-chain privacy, right? We're not going to get too into the fundamentals here, but yeah, Horizon is an EVM blockchain built on Base for secure, regulatory compliant, confidential trading and DeFi applications for individual traders and financial institutions. It's a privacy coin. All right, so that's the narrative right now. The privacy coin narrative is on fire, and ZEN is also on fire. Here it is, pumping like mad lads. So looking at the chart here, I mean, very clean breakout. Looks identical to Dash, really, right? Trading in a very, very similar fashion. Now there is a one-day level over here. We're on the market cap chart. We can go look at the US dollar chart in a moment, but this level, let's go look at the price chart, the US dollar chart. So the level on Zen that I did just outline on the market cap chart was like $240 million in market cap. And in terms of price, that's around $13 or so. And I know you might be thinking, Connor, this thing's pumping like crazy. You really think it's going to retrace to 13? Reminder, look at what Zcash did, right? In this parabolic trend, it still retraced 37%. Dash retraced 37%. All right, so it is very possible we do see something like this retrace 30-40%. So if we were to get a 37% pullback, where would that take it, lads? Well, right to that level I just outlined. It would take it to like $12, $13. So yeah, it is very possible. And again, these things like to pull back to their daily trend line to test it. So just put this trend line back on the chart here, right? If it was to pull back, if it was to pull back to the trend line, you know, that would be again right in line with that 30-40% correction. Maybe even depending if it chops around. So yeah, this is right on the money. So I would be looking around $13, $14 on Zen if it does give that pullback, but right in line with the privacy coin narrative, guys. Fits right in there. So Zen, check it out. Do your own research, not financial advice. Now let's go ahead and move on to the next coin of the video, and it's Virtual, guys. So Virtual, another base protocol token. It's going through the roof currently, trading for $1.85. Now, a big part of the Virtual success currently is the X402 narrative, which essentially allows micro payments to be made from AI agents. It's just a new way of doing commerce and a more efficient way of doing commerce. It's also a very hot narrative in the crypto market, and the crypto market loves narratives to pump, and that's why we're seeing Virtual protocol start to perform really well again. So $1.2 billion market cap and trading for $1.85. Let's go see what's going on here on the price chart. So here is Virtual on the daily time frame chart. So guys, if you're new here, my strategy trading is quite simple. I look for a break above a previous swing high. So here, for example, on Virtual, we had a swing high from the 13th of September at $1.40. Price closed above that level, and then it's usually always like 90% chance it will pull back to liquidity. Whether that's a hidden liquidity level or a supply and demand level, it will pull back and then it will continue up. All right, so that's why I went over the setups on TAO and Dash like I did. That's my strategy in a nutshell. So Virtual, here's just an example of how that works out. Also back tested the daily 200 EMA, and now it's flying. So the next swing high level on Virtual, the previous swing high is at $1.95. All right, so we want to look for the price to go ahead and close above that level, preferably on the daily time frame. And when it does do that, well, that would be an indication it wants to go ahead and pump up higher. With that being said, there is a brand new fresh 2-day demand zone that has formed over here on Virtual protocol. All right, so this is a 2-day demand. So if I was going to be looking for a pullback on Virtual, at the very, very minimum, I would be looking for a pullback to this 2-day demand zone. And what I like to do with these zones, especially on the higher time frame like the 2-day, I like to find the equilibrium, which is just the 50% of the zone. And we want the candle body only, because the candle body is what holds the liquidity. Anyway, so we can put a fib and just take the 50% measurement. And that's coming in on Virtual at $1.43. Okay, so this is where I would be looking for a pullback entry on Virtual protocol. So I'm not going to overcomplicate this again. Just look for a pullback to 2-day demand at 143. And your invalidation would be obviously a loss of this level. And also, we might get a third tap of this trend line 2 coming in, right? This is all coming in at like $1.30 inside of this 2-day demand zone. So I would be looking here, guys. If you want to set limit orders, might be a bit dangerous, but maybe you want to wait for a market order entry. Anyways, $1.43 is the EQ of the 2-day demands. Maybe we hit the trend line and bounce from there and take out the previous swing high at 195. We'll see how we go. But anyways, Virtual protocol, that's how I would be looking to trade it, guys. Again, at the bare minimum, looking for like $1.43. Real quick, guys, let's go look at the last coin of the video. This is in line with the payment narrative and like the new generation coins for payment transactions. It's Caspa. Caspa's been performing horribly, guys. Strong fundamentals, solid fundamental coin, but horrible performance, right? So anyway, 5.3 cents. It was the best performing coin in 2023 and early 2024, by the way, but yeah, recently it hasn't done anything. 5.3 cents, $1.4 billion market cap. The Kaspa maxis are seething, seeing these other coins pump while Kaz doesn't do anything. But hey, Kaz had the best run of the century basically after Bitcoin earlier in 2023. So here it is now, guys. Real quick on the weekly time frame. It is in some really interesting levels over here at like 5.3 cents. We might see it go ahead and drop slightly lower into the 4s. But I think these are very, very value prices on Kaspa. I think these are demand wholesale prices. And I think we could see it take a run back up to like the highs at least. Some multiples at play here. But anyways, it's worth mentioning because it is kind of in a similar narrative. But yeah, there are a lot of lows due in November. So again, look to see if we just consolidate into that pivot or if we actually have a drop into the pivot. But something like Kaspa, I would be looking for a bit lower, around 4 cents for an entry, because I sold all of this earlier in the year in like February after it started breaking structure over here. But yeah, I would look to get back in if it does give a good entry, and I think it can make another run up to the highs, guys. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Smash that like button. So in this video, I covered 5 coins that I had my eyes on to start out the month of November. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, first of all, leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you agree with what I'm saying? Do you agree with my analysis? Or are you looking at the market in a different manner? I would love to hear what you're thinking, so drop your comment down below. Also, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you let me know by smashing the like button. Also, if you're brand new to Crypto Empire, or maybe you've been watching, but for some reason you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead right now and smash that subscribe button for your boy and turn on all the notifications so you don't miss any future videos. But that is all from me today. My name is Connor from Crypto Empire, and I will see you in the next video.